Now, I don't know if my background is noisy. I'm doing this recording on Sunday, and there are a lot of churches around where I live. So if there's a lot of background noise, please excuse me. I do not know how to remove the background noise. I probably need to watch a tutorial on how to do that. But for now, bear with me. Anyway, so I made this tutorial for my brother who's learning Django, and I noticed he had a few challenges understanding virtual environment and how to install Django and whatnot. So I decided to make this tutorial to take him through in a way that it will be easy for him to understand. I decided to do a video so that I could share it with other people who are struggling to understand virtual environment, Python, and getting started with Django. So I don't have a script, so this is just we just go as we study, as we set things up. I do not have a script I'm following, so I don't even know how long this video will be, but I'll try to make it as short as possible. Nobody wants to watch a 30 minutes video on how to set up a virtual environment. Anyway, enough of that. So we are going to do that in two environments. So first we will do it on a Linux machine, which is my primary development machine, and then we will see how to do the same on a Windows computer, which is my virtual machine currently running my Windows. So let's get started. So I'm going to jump into my terminal here. Going to open a new terminal. I'm going to cd into the home directory. So we are in the home directory, home body. So a few things about virtual environment. What is virtual environment? When you're developing a software, let me use a software for people who are not experienced. When you're writing your software, you have other software that your software depends on. These are what we call libraries, external libraries or third-party libraries. So for example, if you want to code a software that handles network communication, you can't create a network drive or something from scratch. So you use other software people have already developed to help you ease in your work. So this library you install alongside your software so that they work in tandem or together. Now the problem comes in when you have a different version of that library supporting a different software, and you want to develop a different software with a different version of the same library. So for example, if it was a network a library, let's say for example it's PyTCP. So on project A you're using PyTCP 3.1, and on an older project which you're supposed to maybe fix a bug or work on it, it uses PyTCP, let's say version 1.3. So if you don't have a way of segmenting the environments, segmenting is the word? Okay, I mean, if you don't have a way of separating the environments, then these two software will crash because when you install PyTCP 1.3, now your computer knows PyTCP 1.3. When you shift to the project that uses, let's say, PyTCP 3.0, it goes to your system and then it finds, oh, here is PyTCP 1.3. Some functions will work, some functions will not work. So that is why we need a virtual environment. And a good example, you'll see it in practice as we try to do that in Django. Now I don't know if my how can I even enlarge the display? So I'm just trying to we're using 14. Let's go to 16 so that you people can see. Okay, 16 is fine. So here we are going to create a directory called what should we call it? PyPy. No, that would be very confusing. Let's call it Blue, my dog's name. And then we are going to cd into Blue. Now, so that we understand everything better, I'm just going to open, where was I? In the home directory. I'm going to open Blue here. So as you can see, there is nothing inside Blue, inside that directory called Blue. Just trying to arrange things here. There is nothing inside Blue. So what are two things you need to create a virtual environment? In my case, I use a library called virtual env. Some people use what is the other name? Okay, there are several, but I use virtual env because it just works okay for me, and I don't want to add more information in my brain in regards to virtual environment. Anyway, okay. Excuse me. So first we need to confirm that Python is installed, because remember we are trying to create a Django project and we want to separate the dependencies. So we'll sorry about that. So we'll confirm that Python is installed. In my case, it's Python 3.11.6. Let's exit, and then we need to confirm if virtual env is installed. Virtual env installed. Now here I've already installed virtual env, so I'll just jump straight into creating the environment, and then when we tackle the Windows instance, we will see how to install the actual virtual env. So to create a virtual environment, you just type the command virtual env venv. Now venv is the name you give your virtual environment. You can give it anything. You can say blue venv, venv, you can say blue env, you can say env, but I tend to use venv because a name like env will confuse you, because you might need to have a requirements.txt file which the names will confuse you or anyone working on the project in the future. So we are going to say venv and we hit enter. Now if you notice, there's a folder here called venv that has been created. Now this is now our virtual environment, so all libraries will be installed inside this. As you can see here, we already have Python 3.11 installed here, and other binaries. These are just commands that will help you manage the virtual environment. Now at this point, your virtual environment is not activated. So if you install something, if you say let's just go and find a Python library. Let's say TCP Python, used for socket programming. I'm just going to say I need one from the PyOrg. Okay, let's see. TCP Py. What is the name? Okay, this is what I'm looking for. PyPy. So we are going to grab this this library. So let's go with version 2.1.1. Let's copy that command to install it. Now inside our virtual environment, okay, not inside our virtual environment, in our project, let's say we want to use that library. So if you install it here, it will install in a way, it will install it globally. What globally means, it doesn't like install it as a specific in a specific virtual environment inside your project. It installs it on your computer in general, like everywhere. So anywhere you will need to use that library, you will need to stick to the specific version you're installing. So let's activate our virtual environment. So to activate our virtual environment on Linux, we type source venv bin activate, and we are saying, bin activate because it's inside the binary folder, which basically gives you commands to manage your virtual environment. Now inside the library folder, we only have Python 3.1.1. Now let's try to install our library. So we'll say pip install TCP. That's going to take a second. All right. So now we have, I was under the impression it will appear here. Site packages. Yeah, here it is, TCP. Now TCP is installed inside our virtual environment. So if you are creating a project that requires that TCP library, you can just use it as it is. Now, assuming you have another project, so I'm just going to type deactivate, and then that will deactivate our virtual environment. As you've noticed, this thing is no longer here. So we are going to cd into the other directory, and then we are going to say mk directory. We are going to say Dolores, the name of my other dog. Dolores, and then we are going to cd into Dolores. Now inside Dolores we don't have anything yet, so we want to create a virtual environment inside Dolores, and we want to, as you can see, it's empty, and we want to install another version of the TCP library. So here we are going to activate our virtual environment. So we are going to say source VNV activate. Oh, sorry, we are going to create it first. So we'll do virtual env venv, and then we type source activate. In case you're wondering, I'm using Zish shell, so that's why it's auto suggesting my commands. So after we've activated our virtual environment, so we are going to find another version of the TCP module. The latest one is 2.1.1, which will be installed when you type this. But let's look for another version. Release history, and then we have version, let's go all the way to version 0.1 if there is one. Let's say, okay, 0.01, which was released in 2020. So we are going to copy this, and then you are going to come to our virtual environment, and you are going to install it. Okay, that is done. So what essentially this means, if you come to Dolores VNV library Python site packages, we are looking for TCP. We are looking for TCP module. Okay, where is it? So as you can see here, we've installed version 0.0.1. So that means if you want to write your software inside this this virtual environment, they will use TCP version 0.0.1. Now, if you wanted to write a software, where am I? Here. As you can see here, Python site packages, we've installed TCP version 2.1.1, as you can see here. So that means if you run a software inside this virtual environment, it will use this library. If you run it inside the other environment, it will use that version 2.1.1. Now, in the context of Django, let's just work with the Dolores first, and then we'll see Blue. So inside Dolores, we're going to look for Django documentation. Then you're going to look for getting started, quick install guide. So first you have to make sure you have Python installed, and then you move to installing Django. So here's the thing. If you got, okay, I don't know if you guys can see, let me just zoom in. There's one way you can install the official release, and then you can install the one provided. Okay, I don't understand what they mean here, but I'm just going to go with the first option, and this is how you can install Django. So we're going to install Django we're going to install the latest version inside Dolores, and then we will pick an older version and install it inside Blue. So here we're just going to paste that command. Remember, you have to do this while your virtual environment is activated. While it does that, in the interest of time, I'm just going to cd into Blue, and then how do we activate our virtual environment? We type source VNV activate. Okay, now we need to find an older version of Django. I don't know how we can do it from here. Okay, let's just guess. Let's say version 1. Inside Blue, we are going to paste the same command, but here we are going to say we want version, let's say 0.0.1. Will that find anything? No. What if we said version 1? Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Let's look for an older distribution, an older, nothing helpful. Let's see. Okay, so we can just do this. We can just say Django version 1.1. So we go to version 1.1. A few things about it. There's no guide on how to install it. how did we install TCP specify? Oh, we're supposed to do this. Okay. So let's try that, not what I was doing. Let's try that. No matching distribution, so we are going to try with 1.1. Wait, I thought I've seen here 1.1. Version 1.1, changes in version 1.1. Okay. Where were we? So let's look for, those are the release notes. Okay, let's try. I've actually never used Django from PyPy, and I've seen here it's available. So let's go to release history. Let's pick an older version, let's say 3.11. So you're going to copy this command and you're going to paste it here. So this one is done, and as you can see here, it has installed Django 5.0.6, which is the latest version. Sorry, what is, oh, okay. I needed to, okay, I typed the wrong command. What did I type? Uninstall. So let's remove the latest version first inside the blue. Dolores, we've installed version 5.06. Here we want to install version 3.1.1. So we are going to do that. That's going to take a second. Let me take a sip of water. I hope my microphone is still working. I'm using a different microphone, which I hope will do sound better. Okay, so here we've installed Django 3.1.1, but here we've installed Django 5.06. So that is how to work with virtual environment and install different versions of Django inside each environment. Now that's it for Linux. Let's shift to Windows and see how we can do that on Windows. Now it's going to be a little bit long on Windows because I haven't installed what was I saying? Okay, I haven't installed Python. I think, have I? Let's try and see. CMD. So if you want, you can use PowerShell, which or you can install terminal. Let me just zoom in. Okay. CLS. Let me see if I can remember Windows commands. Perfect. I still do. Oh, CLS, not clear. So let's see if Python is installed. So we're just going to do Python. Not installed, so we need to install that first. So let's just go to our browser. Let's go to Python. So this is actually a good way to explain everything from scratch because I haven't installed anything on my Windows instance. So you're going to go to Python website and you're going to download. Where is the download? Let's see. Oh, downloads. Sorry. So there is Python 3.12. I think on my Linux I'm using 3.11, but I think 3.12 can work as well. So you're going to download it. That's going to take a second. While it does that, I think I have to go get some water. So the application I'm using to record this does not have a pause option, does it? No, it's OBS Studio. If anyone knows how to pause this thing, please shoot me a comment. I think this is my first tutorial that I will edit later. The other ones I was just recording and uploading. I think I'll have to edit this one. Come on. Okay. Python is done downloading. So I think on Windows it's a little bit easier to work with packages, because once it's downloaded, you just come here and click. So we are going to add it to path, very important. Okay, let me just check this. I'm going to install it. I don't know if I should edit this video. I think it looks okay. You know, editing takes out some small failures when writing a tutorial. So whoever is watching the tutorial might end up running into errors that they don't know how to solve. But if you use a raw format like this, you're like, everything is there. Every mistake, you see it. How I solve every bug or whatever, you see it. That's going to take a second. I don't know if I have enough space on my Windows virtual machine. 8 gigs, that's fine. I mostly use Windows for design related work. So let's disable path limit. Setup successful. So we can try again the same command, see if it picks it up. I think I might have to restart my terminal. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to open my terminal again before I. Okay, so Python is installed 3.12. Now okay, this is a little bit smaller than. Okay, I'm trying to use Linux commands. So let's confirm if virtual env is installed. So I'm just going to type virtual env is not recognized. So we need to install virtual env. So I'm just going to come to my browser and type virtual env. I'm going to go to the installation guide. This is how to create, but we need to know how to install. So we're going to install virtual env. I'm just going to use the command I already know, pip install virtual env. I think here they're using a different command, pipx. I don't know. Okay, pipx must be some newer version of pip. In case you're wondering what pip is what you use to install your dependencies, your Python dependencies. We've used it or when we were doing Linux. Oh yeah, and I see they've also explained how to use it here. Okay, so Windows installations. Let's see. Yeah, we already installed Python, so let's see if it's done. Okay, virtual env is installed. Let's see virtual env. Perfect. So CLS to clear the screen. Okay, I don't think my entire terminal is in view, so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to do that. Let me shrink it a little bit. Let me enlarge it again. Okay, so here we're going to create our virtual directory. So we are going to say blue, and then we are going to cd into blue. Now currently there is nothing inside blue. If you type dir, how does this thing zoom in and out? It's weird how it does it. Anyway, we don't have anything inside blue. So what is the first thing we need to do? We need to create our virtual environment. So we type create. Sorry. Wait, what am I doing? No, virtual virtual env venv. Venv is created. Now, how you activate virtual environment on Windows is a little bit different from how you do it on Linux. So on Windows, let's go back. On Linux, you type source and then the name you gave your virtual environment and then bin activate like we did it before. But on Windows, you use the name, scripts, and then activate. So I'm just going to copy this command because I'm lazy. And then I'm going to type it here. But we need to change the name. Our virtual environment, we called it venv. And as you can see here, our virtual environment is activated. Now, inside our virtual environment, we can proceed and install Django. Now there is a caveat here. Sometimes when you type this, it does not work, so you need to cd into this directory to make it work. Okay, I don't know why it doesn't work, but maybe I guess it's how you do this, how you reference the directory here. But yeah, but if you just want an easier flow, just do this. Now inside here, our parent directory, we are going to install Django. So let's look for let's say Django. We're just going to do the same thing. We're going to go to the official documentation. Now, I am a big advocate of using the official documentation when you're working on something. It's cumbersome, it's tedious, it's hard to find where the information is, but it will, at least you'll understand it better. It will really help you avoid certain bugs that would be otherwise easy to solve. So so we're using Windows, so I'm just going to, okay, I prefer pip, so I'm just going to copy this, and then I'll say pip install, and then I paste that, and I give it a second. No such option. Oh, okay, let me just do what I know. You see now the problem of copying things from anywhere. Pip install Django, so I'm just going to do that. While it does that, I'm just going to copy this path, and I want to open it and see what's inside. Now, as you can see, there's only venv. And if we go to library site packages, we can see we have pip installed here. Let's wait for Django to install. That's going to take a second. Okay, if you refresh, you'll realize we have a few other libraries added. Now, Django does not just come does not just come as a standalone application. It will need a few other libraries to be installed alongside Django. So here we have this. We have this SQL, because Django comes with a default DB SQLite. The name is called, it names it DB SQLite 3, but the database is SQLite database. So that's why you see other packages that are installed as well. Now, inside our project, if we do that, we see we have venv installed, but nothing else. I don't know, I was just handling how to work with virtual environment, so I'm not going to go into detail about how to install Django. Maybe I'll do that in a separate video, which will be like a continuation of this. But that's just it for how to work with virtual environment for both Linux and Windows. If you like the video, you can consider giving me a like or a subscribe. Okay, sorry, I'm not really good at this. Okay, see you in the next tutorial.